From the moment you awakened to the awareness of having been chosen, everything around you took on a new purpose. The world, once so routine, began to reveal itself in deeper dimensions, as if a privileged vision had been granted to you, allowing you to see what remains invisible to most. Among the various changes that manifested, one of the most evident was the influence that your gaze began to exert on the people around you. Your eyes, now imbued with divine light and glory, stand out from ordinary gazes. They cease to be mere organs for capturing the physical environment, transforming into portals to the spiritual, capable of unveiling hidden truths, buried mysteries, and realities that many choose to ignore. When individuals meet your gaze, they are not just contemplating your irises. They are being challenged by a deeper essence, a reality that shakes the most intimate layers of their being. There is something in your eyes that goes beyond the apparent, something that seems to pierce the soul, triggering an instant response. This encounter with the truth can be destabilizing for many. After all, how can one sustain contact with such a penetrating luminosity that exposes what they often try to hide? It's as if, when staring into your eyes, they feel their facades crumble and their meticulously erected barriers collapse. The spiritual luminosity that emanates from your eyes is a pure and immediate expression of your connection with the divine, and this light, for many, is intolerable. It is not uncommon for those still immersed in fears, insecurities, and falsehoods to have difficulty maintaining eye contact with you. Even without fully understanding the reason, something inside them signals that there is a difference in that gaze. They intuit that your eyes unveil more than they wish to reveal. Every disguised fear, every camouflaged insecurity, and every hidden motivation rises to the surface, generating dread. Your gaze transcends simple observation of the world. It is a vehicle for change. It not only captures what is in front, but pierces beyond the superficial, accessing the depths of human essence. When staring into someone's eyes, you don't just see the visible, you perceive the hidden, the repressed. Their most secret intentions, their most deeply rooted fears, and their most disguised vulnerabilities become clear to you, and this experience for many is extremely uncomfortable, as it implies that there is no longer refuge before you. In various everyday interactions, you may have observed atypical reactions when people establish eye contact with you. Sometimes the response is immediate. A sudden discomfort, a quick aversion of the gaze, or in more intense situations, an evident attempt to avoid any eye contact. This pattern may confuse a casual observer, but for the chosen, such responses indicate something much deeper. Your gaze is not ordinary, it carries a spiritual potency that exceeds sensory perception. For many, staring directly into your eyes is like confronting their own shadows, secrets, and fragilities. The strength of your gaze forces people to deal with realities they may have avoided for years. This attribute of the gaze of the chosen is not something that can be controlled deliberately, but arises from your direct connection with the Creator. Your gaze, as an extension of that connection, is inseparable from the truth. It functions as a mirror that reflects not only people's exterior, but their inner truths. This can be disturbing, especially for those vibrating at low frequencies, mired in illusions or self-sabotage. For these individuals, staring at you is like being compelled to face their own darkness, and it is understandable that they seek to flee from that exposure. Yesterday, while I was in the elevator in silence, immersed in meditation as usual, I noticed someone beside me. They seemed restless, fiddling with their phone, trying in some way to isolate themselves from any interaction with me. As the elevator ascended, I felt that tension increase. They averted their gaze from me, but I knew that at some point that would change. Suddenly our eyes met. In that second, it was as if something in them had been unveiled. They promptly turned their face away and began to rub their eyes, almost as if they had glimpsed something unwanted. I understood what was happening. As a chosen one, I carry the glory of God within me, and my eyes radiated. The divine essence emanates from me, and those in lower vibrations perceive it. It's as if the obscurity they carried was challenged by the light that resides in me. While they persisted in avoiding my gaze, I continued in my silent prayer, serene, aware that my mere presence had a greater effect than any speech. Not everyone can sustain eye contact with me, for my eyes, the eyes of a chosen one, unveil the truth. They expose the veiled, and that is something many cannot bear to face. Thus, once again I was reminded of the power I carry as a child of God. Imagine yourself in a casual conversation with a colleague or friend. Everything proceeds normally until, as the interaction advances and eye contact intensifies, you notice signs of unease in the other person. It could be an abrupt aversion of the gaze, a nervous movement, or a sudden change of topic. What is happening there goes beyond mere distraction. In reality, the discomfort felt reflects the truth that your gaze is exposing, a truth they may be trying to hide from themselves or others. In that instant, your gaze acts as a spiritual detector, revealing hidden motivations, vulnerabilities, and suppressed feelings that the person may not be prepared to admit. This phenomenon does not indicate that you are doing something wrong. On the contrary, your gaze operates as expected, unveiling what lies in the depths. For those who live authentically and transparently, the gaze of a chosen one can be a source of tranquility, trust, and even serenity. They know they have nothing to hide and therefore find in you a welcoming presence, a spiritual anchor of stability. However, for those who harbor secrets, ambiguous intentions, or are entangled in cycles of self-delusion, your gaze represents a genuine threat. And this threat is not material, it is spiritual. They sense, consciously or not, that they are being confronted with a superior light, a luminosity they are not yet able to face. This reaction to your gaze is not restricted to acquaintances or close ones. Even strangers can feel the energy that radiates from your eyes. Perhaps you have experienced this while walking through public spaces. Some people avoid eye contact at all costs. They lower their gaze to the ground, turn to the side, or simulate distraction with something irrelevant. This happens because, on a spiritual plane, they detect the aura you emit. They intuit that there is something unique in you, something potent, and in many cases, this inhibits them. Even without knowing your identity, they perceive that there is a truth in you that questions their own illusions. On the other hand, there are those who cannot look away. They become captivated, as if magnetized by something invisible in you. These people are usually more attuned to light and authenticity. They may not fully grasp what they feel, but in some way they are drawn to the vibration you carry. Your gaze, for them, is not an intimidation, but a source of curiosity and enchantment. They sense that you possess something they yearn for, something that echoes in the depths of their souls. These two responses, evasion and attraction, are common and illustrate how your gaze impacts others at varying levels of awareness. Those immersed in their darkness, who are guided by falsehoods or are disconnected from their true essence, will experience the immediate unease that your gaze provokes. They may not understand why, but they will avoid direct contact, as if it shields them from an anguishing revelation. Meanwhile, those who pursue spiritual evolution, union with the divine, and a more genuine existence will naturally be drawn to you. For them, your gaze is like a beacon, guiding them toward the truth. What many ignore is that, for the chosen, the gaze is not a banal or meaningless means. Every gaze you cast carries a spiritual purpose, even if you don't always perceive it. Your gaze is a potent instrument that can bring clarity, consolation, truthfulness, and in certain occasions an essential confrontation with reality. And this explains why so many people react so vehemently when establishing eye contact with you. When looking at someone, you are not merely examining that person's exterior. Your gaze advances, breaking through the outer layers and reaching the deepest regions of the soul. This generates an immediate, almost primal reaction in people. They may not be equipped for such depth, and therefore feel the urgency to avert, to escape that moment of confrontation. For them, eye contact with the chosen one serves as a reminder of everything they avoid, their inner truths, their most rooted fears, and the shadows that dwell within them. In contrast, those who live openly and honestly find in your gaze a sense of peace and protection. They know they have nothing to hide and, thus, can sustain contact without fear. For them, your gaze is like a spiritual embrace, a validation that they are on the right path. They intuit that they can rely on you, for your eyes transmit the light and truth they also aspire to. The power of your gaze exceeds its superficial effect. It also serves as an instrument for spiritual discernment. You can decipher people's emotions, motivations, and energies just by staring into their eyes. This gives you a notable advantage in your interactions, allowing you to see beyond superficial words and gestures. Often, what someone verbalizes does not match what their eyes reveal, and this inconsistency alerts you to potential issues. For example, if someone is lying or hiding something, it will be arduous for them to maintain eye contact. Your eyes, tied to divine truth, have the capacity to unmask falsehoods and dissimulations. Even if the person tries to appear confident or sincere, their eyes will betray the reality they try to veil. This aptitude for discerning the truth is one of the most precious gifts you, as a chosen one, possess. However, this ability carries a great responsibility. It is not always simple to deal with the fact that you can glimpse the truth about people, especially when that truth is uncomfortable or distressing. Many times, you will need to balance your discernment with compassion and empathy. Perceiving the truth about someone does not always imply confronting it immediately. Sometimes, it is preferable to allow the person to reach their own truth at their own pace. In personal relationships, the power of your gaze becomes even more pronounced. Eye contact is one of the most intense connections between individuals, particularly in intimate bonds. When staring into the eyes of someone you relate to, you seek a deeper union, a truth that transcends superficial words and actions. And this is where your ability to discern through the gaze proves crucial. If someone in a close relationship is trying to hide something, it will be almost impossible for them to sustain prolonged eye contact. Your eyes, which carry the light of God, act as a mirror that returns to them their own intentions. This can be an uncomfortable experience for those who hide something, but it is a grace for you, as it allows you to see the truth before it is too late. Many problematic bonds could be prevented if people trusted more in ocular discernment. Often, we ignore the signs our eyes capture because we prefer to believe the words we hear. However, as a chosen one, you have the talent to see beyond appearances. If something doesn't sound right, trust what your eyes communicate. They are a mechanism of safeguard and wisdom that God has granted you to navigate the world with discernment. One of the most impactful abilities you possess as a chosen one is the capacity to interpret people's emotions through their eyes. When staring into someone's eyes, you can feel what that person is experiencing, even if they try to mask it. This provides you with a unique perspective on the emotional state of those around you. You can detect when someone is sad, anxious, fearful, or even dissimulating. Your eyes capture these emotions intuitively, and this ability to read people allows for deeper and more relevant interactions. This competence is particularly valuable when words fail. People do not always express their feelings verbally, but the eyes never deceive. When looking into someone's eyes, you access a portion of the soul that often remains veiled, and this deep emotional connection allows you to offer support, consolation, or even confront the truth when necessary. This ability can also represent a significant challenge, as it is not always easy to manage the emotions you perceive in others. Sometimes you will see pain, suffering, or anger in someone's eyes, and this can be hard to assimilate. However, your capacity to feel these emotions also offers you the chance to help people deal with their feelings in a healthier way. By identifying what they are experiencing, you can provide guidance, support, and understanding. Your gaze is not limited to a tool for discernment and emotional reading. It also holds the power to spiritually transform those around you. When looking at someone with love, compassion, and empathy, your eyes become a conduit through which the light of God flows. This light can heal, restore, and change those around you. Often, individuals going through difficult phases or emotional challenges feel relief and comfort just by meeting your gaze. This happens because your eyes carry a therapeutic energy. They reflect the divine light, and this light has the power to touch souls in ways that words could never reach. When staring at someone who suffers, your eyes transmit that they are not alone, that there is hope, and that God is present in their lives. This is one of the most potent gifts you, as a chosen one, possess. Frequently, you will not need to utter a syllable for your presence to be noticed. Your gaze alone carries the entire message of love, healing, and compassion that people need to absorb. And by employing this ability with discernment, you can alter the lives of those who cross your path. This applies especially in moments of great affliction or loss, when words seem insufficient. In these scenarios, your gaze will be the bridge that connects the person to the consolation and peace they so need. Although your gaze has the power to heal and transform, it can also serve as an instrument for spiritual confrontation. When you, as a chosen one, stare directly at someone immersed in darkness, whether through falsehoods, deception, or destructive behaviors, your eyes become a reflection of God's light, and this light provokes an immediate clash with the darkness. People living in low vibrations or trapped in negative patterns often cannot maintain eye contact with you. They feel that they are being unmasked, that their shadows are illuminated. This can trigger strong reactions, from restlessness and unease to hostility and fury. But you, as a chosen one, know that this is the natural response of darkness to light. This spiritual confrontation through the gaze is one of the ways you fulfill your mission in the world. It is not about judging or punishing, but about bringing the truth to light, helping those mired in shadows to glimpse the light and find a path to healing and change. Often, people will not be prepared to accept this truth right away, but by staring into your eyes, you plant something that can germinate and flourish over time. Your gaze transcends a mere physical manifestation. It is a window to your soul and a direct mirror of your connection with the divine. Upon entering any space, your presence already radiates a transformative energy, and your eyes are a channel for that energy, conveying a message that does not require verbalization to be captured. They emit a spiritual force full of love and truth, capable of reaching the hearts of those around you, even if those individuals do not perceive it. As a chosen one, your eyes hold a unique magnetism, an authority that cannot be disregarded. You do not need to raise your voice or perform dramatic actions for your presence to be felt. Simply staring at someone communicates your connection with the divine and the mission you carry. Your gaze surpasses material barriers, touching the spirit and soul of those who cross your path. This is not a power to be minimized, but understood and honored as part of your greater purpose. This spiritual authority that you carry through your gaze is not aggressive or forced. It is a subtle authority that expresses itself with calm and balance. When you are aligned with your mission and purpose as a chosen one, your eyes naturally transmit this authority, and often this inner potency manifests without you needing to articulate a word. The people around you may feel this presence, and even if they do not verbalize it, know that there is something distinct in you. However, not everyone will be ready to receive or understand this light that you carry. Some people may feel uncomfortable or even frightened by the power of your gaze. This does not happen because you threaten them, but because your eyes unveil deep truths that, for some, are still difficult to assimilate. You may observe that these people avoid eye contact or distance themselves, for your presence evokes aspects of their lives that they are not prepared to confront. But remember, this is part of your journey as a chosen one. Not everyone is able to face the truth, and that's okay. The power of your eyes must be handled with wisdom. They are a potent instrument for healing and transformation, but also for discernment. There will be occasions when your gaze will be a source of consolation for those who suffer. Simply staring at someone with compassion transmits hope, peace, and healing. Your eyes have the capacity to convey divine love in a way that words could not. This therapeutic power can help those around you overcome emotional and spiritual challenges. On the other hand, there will be instances when you need to employ your eyes to confront the darkness. There are situations where the truth must be revealed and illusions dissipated. In those moments, your eyes become a spiritual weapon capable of piercing layers of deception and exposing the hidden. Your discernment, guided by divine light, will allow you to see beyond facades and capture the essence behind the circumstances. The true key to using your eyes with intention is always to act with love and compassion. Even when confronting darkness, do so with the goal of bringing healing and light to the scene. Your gaze, as an extension of your spirit, can both welcome and challenge, but always aiming for transformation for the supreme good. You have been blessed with a sacred gift, the power to glimpse beyond the superficial and reach the core of human beings. And this gift is not just for you, it was granted so that you may be a conduit for healing, change, and revelation for others. By using your eyes to transmit this divine light, you fulfill your role as a chosen one. Your gaze has the power to build bridges where there is division, bring relief where there is suffering, and illuminate where darkness reigns. And as you hone this ability, you will realize that the true potency of your gaze derives from the intention that backs it. The more you align your intention with divine love, the more impactful the effect of your gaze on others will be. Remember that this gift also demands responsibility. Employ your eyes for good to disseminate truth, heal, and protect. Let your gaze always be an expression of God's light, guiding others toward healing and spiritual development. You were chosen to be a light in this world, and your eyes are one of the most powerful tools you have to fulfill that role.